Afternoon. It's afternoon for me. It is quarter after 3. Hello again, Sean Cloud. So last time I said I was gonna do the Heartbreak Rant, I ended up not doing it. So this time I'm gonna go through with it. Just talk a little bit about where my experiences were with the whole thing. Don't mind the TV. I'm currently watching Michael K. Show, best sports radio show out there. But okay, so I suppose I should just start at the beginning. So I was in a relationship for about 3-ish months. We lasted from June until September. But prior to our relationship starting, we had been friends for like a good 4-ish years, 4 years or longer. Um, we had well, there was mutual interest when we had first met each other 4 years ago in terms of like dating and a relationship and all that. But I kind of backed out of it because there were some issues that I wasn't completely comfortable with. Like like for one, my attraction to her was just moderate level. It wasn't like above average, and usually I like to have like above average level attraction to girls. Otherwise, I feel like things could go downhill, like further down the line, like in terms of cheating or something like that. So I had to not follow through with any dating or anything like that, which kind of upset her at the time. But I didn't. My resolve with that was pretty much to let her be upset. It makes more sense for her to be upset because we didn't start dating rather than her get devastated or heartbroken because we did start dating, but then I back out or I cheat or something like that. So while we didn't engage a relationship, we did maintain a friendship. Again, it lasted 4 years. Now, it was mostly, completely a long distance relationship. I mean, friendship, because when we met, she was here in Jersey with me, but then she moved to Indy with some family members to do her thing with a job, and she's been doing good out there and yada yada. But again, we still maintained a friendship. We talked, you know, on something of a consistent basis. I would say like I would try to be like at least once a month keep contact with her, periodically keep an eye on my chat, see if anyone's going to talk to me. Probably no, but again, I started the stream fully knowing that. So yeah, we maintained a friendship. We kept contact, and there were a bunch of times where I would kind of say to her that I kind of regretted not making a move when I could have, because again, the biggest issue was just attraction. Like I thought she was a cool girl. Like we had things in common, and it's just my attraction level wasn't very high, and I kind of started to regret that, like going through the years with her, because again, she's a great person. She's doing really good, but and I figured, oh, maybe I made a mistake by, being too afraid to not engage because of an attraction or something like that. So every now and then we would talk about it, but it would never progress over those 4 years. So forgive me, I'm messing with my hair a lot. Um, I've only had these dreadlocks for about 7 months now. Prior to this, I've been, just a regular short hair dude for all 34, 30. I got these at 33. So 33 years I had just regular short hair, and for 6 months I've had dreads. So that's why I'm gonna keep messing with this until. But yeah. So 4 years we maintained, a friendship even though it was long distance. So the normal pattern was at least once a month we would talk to each other. So February of last year, like, was it February? No, it's actually March. Like March of last year, like right around now. Well, early in the month. It was a random ass FaceTime she had with me. Hey, we didn't FaceTime. We usually would just text. So it's a FaceTime call, and we were just talking like usual, and it gets a little deeper and personal than normal. You know, and she comes out and says to me, comes out and says, "I'm going to be her husband." Now, I didn't take it all that seriously, but I did kind of appreciate it because again, there was some interest. Just I didn't know how strong the interest was, but there was some. And so around March of last year, our talk started getting more serious. And like I said, so instead of we went from talking like once or twice a month to do now it's every other day. And like it's not text, we're FaceTiming. Like now we're FaceTiming each other, and now we're watching movies together on the phone, FaceTime, and now we're going to sleep together, FaceTiming, and we're progressing, we're moving, and the mutual feeling between the both of us was like maybe we could start working towards that relationship after all. Now, granted, it's kind of long distance, but you know there's opportunities for us to close that distance because while we're both living in apartments, I kind of wasn't didn't have an issue with going out there to be with her because where she's living, the cost of living is way cheaper. So affording an apartment and all that and doing it together wouldn't have been a bad idea at all. Now, you're people saying, "Oh, well, you're kind of moving. Why'd you move together so soon, or try and move together so soon?" Well, that only even started happening because, living together thing. Well, we knew this. Like, again, even if we were to start a long distance relationship, it would have been long distance, and I personally would not have enjoyed that. So that's why I kind of started thinking about the idea of going to live with her because I knew she couldn't come be with me because again, all her family's out there, and she pretty much migrated, the majority of them from Jersey to Indy. So her leaving all the family to come here kind of wasn't going to happen. Again, I kind of skipped the steps. So let's go back to we're FaceTiming. We're FaceTiming now. We're FaceTiming nightly, and so pretty much up until we did that up until we kept doing it. We never really stopped doing it. It's just it went from every other day to now it's every day, and then we planned a trip to go see her. I planned it. We both planned it together. I took a flight out there. I saw her for it was only for a night and a day, but it was enjoyable. We hadn't physically seen each other in years, and there was a growing interest between the two of us about a relationship. So even though we didn't hang out long, it was only like one day, and then I had to come fly back. But still, we both enjoyed it, both had a good time, and felt like we got closer. And so, I would say maybe a week or two after after that visit, then she's decides she wants to start the relationship for real, for real. So, um, June 16th. June 16th is when the relationship started. And, I was happy as I could be about it because, I thought this relationship was really going to go places. Now, something about me, I hadn't been in, I guess I'll say, a real relationship prior to this one starting in June. Like, I wasn't two, but I don't really count either of those two because the first one only lasted about a week, and during the course of that week, we never physically saw each other. It was just phone conversations the entire time, and top of that, with me being only 16 or 17 at the time, so I kind of don't count that one. The second one, that one lasted only about a month, and during the course of that month, while we were talking a lot on the phone, it was becoming such an issue just to see her. But it was like, why is it an issue to just to see you? Like freaking, we work in the same damn job. So why is it? I gotta like freaking beg you to spend some time together, and we just started a relationship. I don't understand. We both have cars. You have a place for yourself. It's as simple as me. It's as simple as you telling me when I can come see you, and I'll come see you. But you know, you giving me such a hard time about just seeing you. I had to like beg and beg and beg just so we could hang out at the mall for a little while. So, and during that trip to the mall, she caught me staring at other girls' asses, and that's when I said, "Nah, this ain't." That's when I said to myself, "No, this relationship ain't gonna work." So I ended up having to break it off with her. Like she didn't break it off with me. I broke it off with her, and she was upset about it, and I felt terrible, honestly. And that's when I made value the vow promise to myself that I'm not going to break another heart. So what I started doing was I just stayed more to myself. I just spent a long period of time just doing me. Um, but I'm grateful for all that time I spent doing me and just enjoying solitude and not being so desperate for a relationship and all that because through that I discovered a greater peace of mind with myself and I came to an understanding that okay, I don't need to be in a relationship to be happy. I don't need to be having constant sex to be happy with my life. Those were lies told by the outside world that have been drilled in my head for such a long period of time that it took a while just to unlearn it all. But once I did unlearn it, things were great. I wasn't as um, desperate for a relationship or so. It's just pretty much desperate. So this relationship, back to the June relationship. We started in June 16th, and the biggest thing, of course, was closing the distance between the two of us. So she actually made the suggestion first about us living together. It wasn't even me. She said it first. And I said, yeah, I'm down. I was a little worried about it at first because, again, me going to live out there with her means I'm leaving my family. But the reason I kind of didn't have an issue with that was, well, with the exception of one or two people, I'm not that close with my family. Like, I could keep tabs with them on the phone and things still be fine. Like, I don't need to be physically around them. Like, they might miss me, sure, but I mean, they'll get over it. End of the day, I'm my own man. I live my own life, and I'm a bit of a ghost. I don't, I'm not very social. I don't do a whole lot of talking to people. I don't have many friends. Even with family, I don't talk with a lot of family members much. So, I think the closest tie in terms of family I have might be my little sister. Like I might have been upset about leaving her, but other than that, I didn't have much issue about leaving the family. So her and I started making these plans about living together, and so the relationship the relationship is going cool. We're talking every day like we were before the relationship happened, but now we're talking more about our plans and our future together and living together and yada yada. And so things are going fine, and I want to say like a few weeks or maybe a month after she made the announcement about us living together, or not announcement, but she suggested the idea. She reneges on it a few weeks later, and it was a little upsetting for me because again we had done so much talking about it, and for you to just up and renege was a little upsetting because the most upsetting thing was just more because my where I live now, my apartment, it's a yearly lease. So if you're not ready to move together by the time my lease expired, which would have been September, again we started the relationship in June, my lease was going to expire in September, and so the plan was, when my lease expired in September, just leave and go be with her. And again, we were fine with that for a few weeks until she comes out of nowhere and reneges. Talking about she thought she was ready, now she's not ready, and she wants to wait a little longer, and yada yada. And again, it was a little upsetting for me because that means if you're serious about that, that means we got to spend an entire year being in a long distance relationship, and I don't think either of us would enjoy that much. Like as much as the FaceTime and all that is cool, we want to be physical too. We want to like be able to hug and kiss, and an entire year of only periodically doing that would have been kind of not enjoyable. So then I started making the idea like, okay, well, how about if I just come move down there anyway, but I find my own apartment since cost of living is cheap, way cheaper than here is in Jersey. Oh, by the way, I live in New Jersey, and she's in Indy. Cost of living in Indy is way cheaper than Jersey, so even getting an apartment out there wouldn't have been a bad idea. Because my girlfriend's out there, and eventually we'll live together, so it's not like I'll have the apartment long. Just I'll have to find a short lease. So we start going in that direction. And again, and while we're making those kind of preparations, I also came and visited her a few more times too. I visited her I want to say two more times. Two more times? Was it two more times? One. I want to say three more times. I'm pretty sure it was three more times. But yeah, going to see her again and again and again, and those times, every time, were pretty fine, pretty good. Every time I would go see her, we'd have a good time. We'd spend time, we'd just enjoy each other. So months are passing now, and the next major thing was okay. So a few months pass, and again, while making preparations to just get the apartment, and so I want to say September comes around, like around the beginning of September, or like the end of August, around there. So I'm making plans about the apartment and all that again, and she comes out of nowhere and says, "Oh, I don't think you need to do that. We can go back to living together again." I was like, "Okay, cool, that's great. Back to the original plan." Because as much as I would have been fine with Plan B, I kind of didn't want to do that either because I'd be about I wanted to be with her. I don't want to go through this whole thing just to go through a whole other process of moving my stuff from there to there. So I'm like, cool. I'm glad you changed your mind. And so we're making preparations to live with each other again, and now it's September, and so she came from Indy to see me to Jersey while she had some vacation time. She was seeing some family and some stuff too. So she came over here, and both our families had dinner together. Like pretty much her parents and my parents and some of my other family members, and we had a great time. It was a good time. That was the first time I had ever introduced a girl to my family. First ever time. And the dinner was a great experience. Everyone loved her. Everyone loved her, and they were happy for me and telling me like, "Yo, don't screw this up. She's awesome." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not going to. Trust me." And so that night, we're driving home together, me, her, and her parents, and she says to me, in front of her parents, "I want to live with you. I'm ready to live together with you." And I'm like, "Okay, let's do it. I'm looking forward to it." And her parents were happy for her and us, and all right. And so now we're about to start getting toward the bad part. So I want to say 2 weeks after that, I come and see her one more time because it's like we're nearing the end of September now, and again, my lease expires in September. So I want to say it's 2 weeks before September's over, and I said one last time I want to come see her, and then after that, lease expires, and then we're gonna live with her. So this last visit, mostly was good for me. I had a great time with her. I thought she was having a great time. So the first, I guess, now I can say it, I guess. The first issue of trouble was when well, yeah, the first issue that presented itself was pretty much with us during the course of this. Am I chatting? Oh shit, I got a chatter in here. Hi, Mr. Gamer. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention, but any special video? Okay, I'll click that later because I don't know if you're trolling or not. So damn, maybe lose my track of thought. What was I saying? Okay, so one of the issues that presented itself during my last visit with her was sex. Now, what was the issues? The issues were mostly me. Now, if you recall early in the video, I said I spent a good couple of years, like, not pursuing a relationship, not actively going after sex. And I was happy with that because, again, it gave me peace. It gave me the understanding of knowing that I don't need to be in a relationship. I don't need to have sex like all the time, 24/7, to be happy with my life. So I actually I went a few years without doing it. To be precise, I went about 6, 7 years without having sex. And again, fine. Was no real issue. And then whenever there were urges, I handled it myself just fine. But again, over the course of over those years, I guess my drive, my desires, my lust kind of just faded off. So understandably, I'm gonna be a little rusty when it comes to sex. But I haven't done it in years, so it's a sex is a physical thing. So you got to get your timing, rhythm, and blah blah blah. And prac- the only way you can get better at that is doing it. And so, but she knew this. We had these conversations even before the relationship started. Like she knew that about me. So so our first instance of sex wasn't this last visit. The first instance of sex was, I want to say, the second time I went to go see her, and it was kind of not great. I'll be honest. But again, my first time in years doing it, I was rusty. She knew that, understood that, and didn't end the way she wanted. But you know, she had the understanding. Like, okay, I'll be a little bit patient. Yada yada. So the second time was, again, our second time doing it was the last visit to come see her, and even that, well, prior to it, let me start with prior to doing it our second time. She got a little upset with me because she has told me before she likes morning sex, and this particular morning she didn't have work, but I wake up that morning and I do the same consistent thing that I always did with her whenever I thought she was asleep. Anytime that anytime I saw she sleep and I'm still awake but I want to do other things, I would just leave her in her room and just go to the living room and just chill out and do my own thing there. That was every time I thought she was asleep. Every time she's sleeping, that's what I would do. So this particular morning, the same thing. I think she's asleep, but I'm awake. So I go into the other room and she just comes out and she looks a little mad at me. I'm like, what's wrong? We go back into the room and she starts talking to me like, we haven't had much sex yet. We haven't had much sex yet. And there's a problem. Like, I mean, okay, but you do realize, we've been in a distance relationship, right? And then two, what are you so mad about? Like, it's just the morning. We just woke up. I mean, because this is the thing. So she's ranting about, oh, we haven't had sex much and yada, yada, yada. It's a problem. It's a problem. So I say, well, first I say, one, well, let's work on our communication with that. Because I thought you were fucking asleep. How was I supposed to know you want to have sex and I thought you were sleeping? Um, you know? So I say to her, let's work on our communication. You know, you want to have sex? Just let me know. Instead of having these little gripes about, me just going into the other room. I thought you were sleeping and you wanted sex. How was I supposed to know that? I thought you were sleeping. Hello. But I say, okay, let's start freaks. Let's work that communication out. You want to do it? Just tell me. But so a little thing that can build something that kind of confused me though was, while she's sitting there saying like, oh, we haven't had much sex yet, we haven't had much sex yet, I come out and say, okay, let's do it now. She says no. Um, you just sat here and complained to me about not having sex. I say, let's have sex. No, I don't want to do it no more. Okay. I remember I had a funny. I remember the day. I remember the no the conversation we were having at that time, and I just had the same kind of feeling like, what? You just complained about not doing it. I say let's do it. Now you don't want to do it. Well, okay. But again, that was the first kind of issue that popped up with us. But we worked it out through talking. That was the theme of our. That was one of the strengths of our relationship. Anytime there was an issue, we just talk it out. We just talk it out. That's all we would do. Because we're both mature adults. If there's an issue, let's just talk about it. It's not that complicated. So that instance goes by, and later on in the day, yes, we do go through with it, and we do it. And again, I'll be honest, it wasn't all that great. But again, I'm still getting my rhythm back, getting my composure back, and all that. Again, we've only done it 2 times. It's only been twice. We've only done it twice. That was only the second time. And again, we're in the middle of a distance relationship. So it's not like we can see each other often. The last time I came to see you, we did it. I came here to see you again. We did it. And it's like, well, once we live together, we can do it all we want. And again, the thing was just have us, so after the second time, and again, she's complaining, not, well, she's complaining now after the second time about just the sex, not being good as a red flag. And what I'm saying to you is like what I just said here, like, I'm rusty. That it's going to take a little bit of patience. You knew this beforehand. So why are you making a big deal of it now? And then again, high emphasis on the impatience. You've only done it 2 times. Whatever happened to getting a third strike? You were ready to, let's say you're throwing up red flags and we've only done it twice. How about you wait until we do it a third time and then throw up a red flag? Again, just have a small sense of patience. Not a great deal, just a small sense. We've done it twice. Like, if we were to get to like the 5th or 6th or 7th time and we're still having issues as the first time, then okay. Then you've got a point. But we've only done it twice and you're throwing up all these red flags. I feel like you're being unfair. But again, we talked it out. I thought we had a resolution about it. And so, I said that day goes by. And then the last day I thought was pretty cool. Not much again, we just watched movies most of the day together, ate food, yada yada. Typical day. Not much issues there. And so that night, it's the last night now. So that night, we're cuddled up in bed, and normally when we sleep together, it's the normal spoon position. But this particular night, we're cuddled up face to face, like breathing, like damn near breathing on each other. It was nice, and it was different for me because that was, like, for me, my first ever time being cuddled up face to face with somebody ever. That was only my third relationship, and sleeping in the same bed with her. That was only that was like the second time. That's happened before, but that was like 19 between then and now. But yeah, it felt really good. It felt nice, and in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, the reason she's doing this is because, it must be because it's our last day together. We're not going to see each other for like 2 weeks, and she's going to miss me. That's what I was thinking. But so night goes by. We spent the entire night cuddled up in each other's arms. The morning comes by. She wakes up. Morning comes by. We wake up together, and she just starts talking. Oh, thanks for coming to see me, but I can't let you go back home thinking things are okay. And just starts talking and talking. And she says to me, I don't see a future with us. Followed by later, I want to date other people. Now, mind you, we just spent the entire fucking night cuddled up together like never before. First thing you did when you woke up that morning was talk about, I don't see a future with us, and I want to date other oh shit, and I want to date other people. So naturally, anybody in my position would have gotten pissed off. And yes, I was getting pretty pissed off for the reasons I just stated. We just spent the night cuddled up like never before together, and now it sounds like you're trying to fucking break up with me. How in the fuck was this any kind of smart or intelligent? So, she says the second thing, I want to date other people. And that's when I start exploding a little bit, not a lot, just I repeat what she says. You want to date other people? What the fuck? And then she starts saying some rambling stuff. It felt like she was backpedaling. It felt like she just came up with something at that moment just to calm me down a little bit. And so, finishes it off. Oh, it's not you, it's me, and I'm not ready to live together. Yep, yep. So pretty much the theme she was saying, I'm not ready to live together. That's what she was saying. She's not ready to live together. That's what all that was about. But like the thing about that is, you're saying it's about not living together, but you're saying things also like I don't see a future with us, and I want to date other people. Now, in what fucking universe can you say things like I don't see a future with us, and I want to date other people, and that's not a goddamn breakup? That is a goddamn breakup. But you're trying kind of hard to not say it's a breakup. And it seems like you're saying that because you just saw me get mad and you didn't know what would have happened if I had gotten truly mad, so you backpedaled at the last second and just went back to not living together. But, so, we had that conversation, and then she just goes off to work. So imagine. Goodness. Woke up, dropped an atomic bomb, and then went off to work and left me to deal with the explosion. That's pretty much what happened with that. So, fucking. So again, she's off to work. I get my shit. I go home. That was a rough ride home. And again, but as of that day, the end of the day, we are still in a relationship. I'm emotionally distraught, but we are still in a relationship because she said it was just about not living together, not breaking up. So, okay, just not living together. It felt like a breakup, but it's just not living together. So, we go through, this was on, I want to say a Tuesday or a Monday. I feel like a Monday or a Tuesday. So, we start going through that week, and she's being weird. She's being not the usual. She's being a little distant towards me. Like, again, remember how I was telling about we FaceTime every goddamn day? Now, we're going like every other day without talking at all. Now, I'm not being aggressive about it because, again, I'm still in an emotionally distraught state. So I'm just pretty much waiting on her to call me. So, but she's being distant. Like, she's not calling. She's not calling like she used to. And, something was just in my head. What was in my head? Oh, pretty much just she's being distant towards me that over the course of that week. So, because I was upset about the not living together thing, because that's what I thought it was, I actually looked into my lease and all that, and I find out from my landlord people and all that because I had already lived here a year, I actually don't have to stay another. It actually didn't have to be another year. If I tell them ahead of time, I can just be out that same month. So I'm like, oh well, okay, that's terrific news, because since it was just about not living together, now it's not going to be an entire year before we can do it. It can be, whenever you're ready. So, I share her this news, and she seemed okay. She seemed happy about it, and let me talk now. She seemed happy about it, and we go through no, she seems happy about it, but even after that day, she continues to be distant. Now, if it was only about not living together, why are you being so distant? Why are you not calling me like you used to? Why is it now because your parents or your family members are home, you can't talk. And that was never an issue before. Any other time your parents are home or you have family around, you would still call me. And you would put them on the phone with me. Like you'll be showing them all off to me and talking yada. But now all of a sudden, because you got family and parents home, you don't want to talk? You can't talk? Like you're being weird, you're being different. So we so we're talking during this week, and while we're conversating, she's talking to me about, oh, I should go after I should start doing my own thing in terms of going for my CDL, because I was going to go for my CDL. Like the plan was for me to go out there, be with her. I mean, live out there with her, get like a menisco job for now until I can get my CDL and then get a real career. But I could work some menisco jobs and still be able to help out my friend bills because the cost of living out there was so cheap anyway. So so she knew about the whole CDL thing already. So this particular day, she's talking to me about, oh, you should go get your CDL. You should go get your CDL. You should, you should go for that. But I'm like, but why would I do that? And we are in a relationship, and if I do that, that means I'm pretty much staying here. Like, it sounds like you're talking to me as if you want me to do my own individual thing. But why are you trying to talk? Why are you trying to get me to do my own individual thing? And we're supposed to be in a relationship. Like, why are you talking to me as if we're not in a relationship right now? So, again, we're kind of going back and forth about that, and I'm explaining to her, like, okay, well, I didn't say all that, but I said pretty much, well, okay, well, I didn't even say this, Jesus. I'll say it now. The bad thing about the worstest thing about her reneging on me like that about the not living together and all that. Again, it was the end of September. Like I was telling I had already told my landlords and all them, I'm ending my lease at the end of the month. I'm ending my lease at the end of the month, and I told my job I'm going to quit at the end of the month. So now, because you just did this last second backpedal, now I've got a last second backpedal. I got to tell my job I'm staying. I got to tell landlords I'm staying. Thankfully, those worked out, except with the job, because with the job they were actually about to go out. My job was a DSP for Amazon, and so Amazon wasn't renewing their contract, so the company was going to go out of business in October, and I was going to have to switch to another DSP, and that wasn't a major issue, thankfully. But as I was explaining to her when she was talking to me about going to get the CDL, I said I can't just do that yet because one, the CDL school costs money, like an entire month's rent worth of money. So over the course of these last 3 months, I'd done so much spending, like in terms of like just not like buying her things. Like every time I would go see her, I would we would buy food and a lot of that, and buying food, ordering out and buying food can get really expensive. Ooh, sunlight's bad. Can get really expensive. So money was just Jesus. But I had it, and it wasn't a big deal. But so I'm explaining. Jesus, the sun. I'm a bit off in bed. So I was explaining to her, like, okay, I can't go the CDL route yet because I'm about to start like a whole new job and all that. So I'm a bit off in the bed. Let me go back to the bed. Sunlight everywhere. So I was explaining to her, okay, I can't do that because I'm about to start a whole new job. I don't know, the rhythm of my pay yet. So I got to get into a rhythm first because, I still got to pay rent with this job. And I don't even know how much I'm getting yet. And she says to me, and the tone of it is just what really kind of shakes me. I explain it to her. She says, well, do what you got to do. And for me, that's when I knew the relationship was over. That's when I knew, like, okay, you're just, how long is it going to be until you just fucking go through with it? Because you just sat here and had a conversation with me as if we weren't partners. That's because we weren't partners in your mind. So it's like, so then what the fuck are you waiting for? Like, the more you hope, the more you The more you drag this on, the worse it's getting for me. Because now I'm spending every day ever since then just waiting for her to do it. And those days were, all the while she's not even talking to me much. And so, end of the week comes, and now again she's no. This time she tells me like I'm going to take the weekend to myself to not talk to anybody, including you, especially me. Well, she didn't say especially me, but she just said including me. You know, I kind of feel like that wasn't the truth. I feel like she just, I don't know if she was, I don't know if she completely cut off everybody for that weekend, or maybe it was just me she cut off. I don't know, but yeah. So that weekend we don't talk, and I think it was Monday. Monday comes by, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? You hadn't said nothing to me in a while. You okay? What's up? You know, I thought are you in a relationship?" And that's when she breaks it off. You know, again, a week after she tells me she doesn't want to live together, when that wasn't really the truth. A week later, then she goes through with a breakup. And so, of course, my mood is completely shit now. And I'm saying, well, like, why the fuck didn't you just do this sooner? And she's all like, oh, well, what changed? You changed. You fucking spent a week distancing yourself from me. We fucking spent an entire night cuddling together like never before, and then we woke up and you told me you don't see a future with me and you want to date other people. What changed is you. But, you know, I'm so emotionally distraught and just devastated, and I was just all over the place mentally. So I just kind of, whatever she said that she didn't know, she didn't completely show until Saturday, but at the time I believed it. But upon reflection and thinking more about it, that's bullshit. You wanted to break up that day. You said you didn't want to live together, but I scared you with my anger and made you backtrack. And so you spent an entire week distancing yourself from me, seemingly to make the breakup less painful for yourself. And it kind of seems like that didn't even work because, you know, while you're going through the breakup, you had to light a cigarette just to get through it. So, now we're back to being friends. I'm devastated, devastated, and she's now. She did want to stay friends, and we remained friends. But again, my emotions are all over the freaking place, and I just it was a weird world. It was a weird world of just not knowing what to think and just wondering how the hell I got here, and just it was like, man, heartbreak is real. Heartbreak is very, very, very real, man. It'll have you in another plane, another world of thinking. Like, you will not be on this planet for a while. You really will not. And what was making it worse was it seemed like a lot like she knows how fucked up this was of her, but she wasn't acknowledging it. It felt a lot like she was trying really hard to downplay how fucked up all of this was. And I tried for a really long period of time to endure all the misery I was going through and maintain a friendship with her. And because like she was still trying to call and talk as if things weren't that different. I'm like, but things are different. You just broke my heart in one of the most heinous ways possible. But you're sitting here acting like, oh well, it's not that big a deal. You should be able to get over it, no problem. Like, we were 2 weeks away from living together. It's like, how in the world can you expect me to get over this so quickly? Now, I'll be fair. She did ask me if I needed space away, and I said no. Well, yeah, I said no. Because one, I know if I say that, I'm probably spacing far away, and I have no idea when I talk to you again, and you probably wouldn't like that. And two, I was kind of clinging on to the false hope that maybe you change your mind and we back in a relationship. Which, that was part of me being an emotionally distraught state and not thinking clearly, not being on this planet. Like in retrospect, maybe I should have said yes to that space, but at the same time, I don't know if things would have ended. Things might have ended the same. Well, let me. When I get to the ending, maybe you'll understand more. So, again, we're back to being friends, and every time we talk, I'm just, I'm, I'm in a I'm in like in an emotionally distraught state. Like I'm trying to, I'm trying so hard to fight my misery, trying to fight all this pain, so I can keep conversating with you and thinking, and, maintain a friendship, be a good friend. But it's like I'm hurting. You devastated me, and it's like I tried. Okay, I did try. I tried as hard as I could to bear the pain and keep talking and try not to complain much. But it's like it's hard not to complain. It was hard not to, and I knew better. I knew I shouldn't be complaining because that's gonna kind of bring the guilt back onto her. But it's like, so you should feel guilty. You should feel bad. This is a bad look on you. You did something pretty fucking terrible. But so I want to say like a month or so, maybe a month of that, a month of that kind of talking happens, and then it was I forget what random weekend it was. She says I forgot what we were talking about, but I had mentioned to her about how I might be taking a coworker out to get food or something like that, and she had texted me like, "Oh, I'm happy for you. You're ready to date again, and this time you'll have a good coach by your side." And I was like, "Okay, that's a little patronizing. Talking about having a coach. What the fuck? I'm 33. I don't need no goddamn coach." And the biggest thing I got from that was, it felt a whole lot like you were. It's for me. It was almost like I could sense how desperate she was for me to get over this. You know, because she knows how fucked up this is. That's why. Desperate for me to get over the heartbreak and date someone else and yada yada, so that you can get over your guilt of knowing how fucked up you were breaking me like this. And so, after that last message talking about having a good coach on your side, that's when I said, okay, I can't do this no more. Like I tried, but I'm miserable, and you're not helping me at all get over this. It's like I got to do what's best for my mind and just do me. So she continues to call and text after that day, and I just stopped talking. I don't say anything. I don't reply back. I don't answer any calls. I got nothing. Because even if I were to answer the phone calls, I wouldn't have anything to say anymore. Even if I were to text back, it'd be one word answers. So I just said fuck it. I just won't talk anymore. I think the strategy was maybe, I guess in my mind I figured maybe she would just take the hint and not engage as much with me anymore, and then maybe we could go back to like maybe once a month talking. But a few days of not talking go by, and one random day I'm just home chilling, and I get a barrage of messages from her, like, "Oh, we not friends no more. This is why I didn't want to date you in the first place." And just rambling and rambling. I'm like, "What the fuck? Wait, what the fuck?" We hadn't spoken in days, and now you're rambling at me. So yeah, I won't get into the specifics of the message, but yeah, she was coming at me a little wrong. She was like, "Oh, this is what I love you looks like." Oh, right, yeah, right. They're just being a little bit snarky, But I don't respond again. I didn't answer because you were definitely just trying to start an argument. 100% just trying to start an argument with that shit. And I knew better. Now I was like, nope, you ain't luring me into that trap. So I don't respond. The next day comes by, and she just says, "Okay, you wanna cut me off? Well, I'm cutting you off too. I'm blocking you." And so she blocked me on Facebook. I have no idea. I mean, yeah, our only social media connection was Facebook. So after she sent me that last message about I'm cutting you off now, then I noticed she blocked me on Facebook. I did not respond to the text messages again, so I legitimately don't know if she blocked my phone number or not. I don't know. I never called, I never texted or anything, so I don't know. But I saw she blocked me on Facebook, and it's kind of strange. I just felt like, okay, well, now this is it. Now it's over. Now it's now it's over. No, nothing to do from here except move on. And it's odd because while I was a little upset about you know, no things ending the way they did, I also felt a little bit relieved because now that I know it's over, you know, it's just back to me and my solo life again. Okay, well, at least now I know I can heal. It might take a while, but I will heal. Time will go by, and I will eventually go back to the state where maybe I can date again. And thanks be to God, some time went by, and I did eventually get over that hump. Now, the hump being, at least being able to not be so distraught anymore. You know, I can at least, you know, attempt to talk to other women and not be upset if. Well, I still do. Let me don't let me lie too much. Like one of the defects of that heartbreak in that relationship was pretty much now if I try to talk to a girl and she's like single or taken or things don't work out or like she's pretty much single or taken and we don't exchange numbers or anything like that, I get a little mood swing because there's still a part of me that's like, well, damn, I didn't think I'd ever come back to this. I thought me and her were really going to go all the way, and it didn't. And so I'm going. That's going to be on the back of my mind anytime something doesn't work out with someone I try to talk to. Now, there's always going to be that. Why I shouldn't even have to be doing this again. I'm supposed to be in a relationship and happily married by now, something like that. So, but I will say, um, it's gotten better with time. With time, the last time we spoke was me and my ex. Last time me and my ex spoke was November, and it's March now, so it's been a few months. But what I will say is I noticed she unblocked me on Facebook. Again, I did nothing to influence that. I hadn't said anything to her since the breakup, since she last spoke to me, nothing. But I know she unblocked me, so I mean, hasn't made any effort to call or text me, but I know she unblocked me, so there's that. I don't know what it meant. I just noticed it. So where I am now, I can say that I am ready to date again, but she's always going to be there in some aspect. I like I think up until I want to say up until I'm happily married, it's always going to be on my mind because I get this up until I get, up until the day I do get married, if I ever get married, this was the closest I'd ever been to it. And again, we've been friends for years, and we spent so much time knowing each other, and me being in a and so one of the sad things about this not working out between her and I is, for me now, it's not going, if I start a relationship, it's not going to be one of those stories where, oh, I had a friend and at first we didn't think it'd get serious, but then it did get serious and that type of thing. It's not going to be that now because that was the only friend I could have happened with. I don't have really, I have some other female friends, but like in terms of seeking a relationship with any of them, well, most of them are taken anyway, so I don't even have to think about that aspect. So the next time I start a relationship, or if I do, it's going to be with a complete stranger. And the bad thing about that is, the process of getting to know somebody and getting close and attached, that's not something that's going to happen overnight. Especially now after I've been through this, but that's the part I'm kind of dreading because, you know, going through that whole process over again and the thought is always going to be in the back of my mind, well, what if I'm putting all of this effort in for naught? What if she gets to know me and we start getting some kind of close or something like that, and then she suddenly breaks it off. That fear is always going to be there now because that just happened to me with this last relationship. I thought we were getting close, and then one random morning, it all got broken off. So that's just it's always going to be there now. I just hope and pray that the next female I meet that has an interest in me, and we get to know each other, and hopefully things like I don't know, man. I would like to meet. I can't say I would like to feel. I would like to meet some other women and date again, but we are in the middle of a freaking pandemic, which was also one of the other great things about that relationship happening. Is we're in the middle of a pandemic, so people can't be very social. So going out and meeting people is a bit difficult, but I didn't have that issue because I'm in a relationship right now. Well, in June. But now that it's been broken off, and I've got to go back to being social and encountering a stranger. How am I going to do that? We're in a pandemic. Ain't too many social events that are trustworthy. know, I already hadn't been to a club since I hadn't been clubbing since I want to say 26 or 27, and I'm 34 now. I have not been to a club in a long time. So honestly, I don't have much clue how or where I would even meet somebody new because social media is a whole other challenge in itself. Like sending DMs is such a journey. I kind of given up on that because most of the time I don't get answered back, and understandably so. Like these chicks, these no women, they go through so much with all these nasty perverted dudes. Like a guy sending a nice guy message probably can't get taken seriously because she don't know if I'm serious or not. So I can understand that, but it sucks because that also means I'm probably not going to get replied to much. And so meeting somebody from scratch on social media is kind of going to be a challenge too. But the good thing about, again, just having the peace of mind I had before this relationship with her started, understanding I don't need to have a lot of sex or even be in a relationship to be happy. But I will say solitude didn't hit me as hard as it did until after this breakup. But again, with time, that's gotten better too. I didn't feel as lonely as I did before the breakup, but then afterwards, it was like, wow. And I think because I was so close, you know, I was so close to the relation. I was so close to, in my mind, I thought I was really close to finally ending it. We were weeks away from living together. And I figured, we lived together and things would work out. Why wouldn't they work out? We every time I went to go see her, we were working together just fine. Around the house with chores and yada yada. We were doing so good. It's like this, like that morning with her was just so out of left field. Like upon self-reflection, I can see how things might have led up to that, but even so, like again, the issues were minuscule. They were solvable with just time and patience. Like this really was such a hell of a 180. This really was just so out there. So but yeah, present day me, for the most part, I'm all right. I said I definitely do still think about it. That is without question. But I do kind of hope and pray. I meet somebody. It don't gotta be soon, but it would be nice if it was soon. It'd be nice to have, just someone to talk to. I don't have many friends, but for good reason. I'm too real to do it. A lot of people can't handle a mind like mine. I've come to realize over the years. So, which is why I came to embrace solitude because hey, I can be my own best friend. I'm not gonna judge me. I'm not gonna do anything bad to myself. So hey, but what's that? Of course not. So let's look at part one. I think I'll cut it here. I am pretty much by myself. I knew that, dog. This rant was just me talking to myself, but I enjoyed this. So part two I think will be just kind of more self-reflection, talking about like some of the things I learned from this and how I'll use it in my future encounters and stuff like that. Yeah, this definitely isn't the end of it though. But I'm gonna cut it here. And those of you who took the time to watch this video, thank you for watching it, and more to come soon. Peace.